Hello. Okay. So I've been playing with my camera, trying to get an angle where I can see the comments, also have the crochet in the video, but these are kind of in the way, so we may just be crocheting like this tonight. And thank goodness it's only women here. Can y'all hear me? Is my Wi-Fi cooperating? Okay, good. Good. Okay. All right. Hey, Sydney. Hey, Robin and Vicky, and Mary. So, thank you guys for agreeing to help out and moderate for me. Hey, Eileen. I really feel like the moderator is most likely very unnecessary, but you just never know, especially when you are as vocal as I have been about things people get very passionate about. So far on YouTube, people haven't been too bad, but like on TikTok, it's the wild, wild west over there. I get awful comments over there, but I really don't get on there very much. So, Mary, I cannot take credit for the cat mat. My son sent me a TikTok, and some girl in the UK made a cat mat, and I have all this yarn that was gifted to me that I need to use up, and I thought it would be a great way to use up all this yarn, and it's stupid easy because I'm just doing granny squares, which is the most basic thing you can do. And I thought maybe I could make some, get them out pretty quick and sell a few, make a little bit of money, use up some scrap yarn in the process. Plus, it's a stitch I can do on here and actually talk. I used to get in trouble on Facebook all the time, but the older I've gotten more docile online, I guess you could say. I don't have to argue with everybody. Do I still want to argue? Very much, but do I? No. Any update on my neck? Not really. It hurts really bad. Still having a lot of issues, but I spoke to my neurosurgeon yesterday, and he said all my scans are looking good, so nothing imminent right now. And he's hopeful that I can go a long time before having any more surgery. So I want to, I was talking to Lee today, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I get tired of being in so much pain. And I wonder if I went ahead and had the surgery, if it would help my pain or make it worse. But I'm not willing to have the surgery to find out. So we're just going to deal with the pain until I want to unalive myself. And then maybe I'll have the surgery. Oh, see, I done made a mistake trying to talk. Yeah. Thank you. I told him yesterday on the phone, I told him that I had a lot of anxiety and I was terrified. And he said, "Well, then let's do the surgery." And I said, "No." I made the same mistake again. Dang it. There's no telling how many mistakes are going to be in this while I'm trying to talk. But I did tell him that I have a lot of anxiety, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm just terrified. And he said, "Well, let's have the surgery." And I said, "No." So that's where we're at. Have you tried cannabis for the pain? I take an edible every night before I go to bed. Um, it definitely, I'm not sure how I would rate it for pain control because I still have the pain, but I guess it just makes me a little goofy, so I don't care as much. But it does help me sleep. So, but it's still illegal in my state, so I have to source mine from out of state. I'm reading your comment now, Mary. Mm. You got some Delta 8, Delta 9 a few weeks ago, and it didn't say how much to take. You took like 4 times. So, did you like stare at the same thing for many hours? Because I find myself sometimes like I have to tell Lee, uh, I have to tell Lee, I've got to go to the bathroom, but if I'm longer than 10 minutes, you need to come get me because I'll find myself like just zoning out and like an hour goes by and it's instant. Yeah. You saw sounds and you spoke in cursive. Yeah. I know that feeling. And they have a delayed onset too. I know when I take one, uh, I've got an hour. I've got an hour from the time I take it until I'm just useless. We'll try it again, just don't take as much. Just take a half of one. The ones that I take, let's see, these are the ones that I take. So they are 20 milligrams, and I take either like a quarter one or like a third of one, and that's plenty for me. Hey, Ellen, I remembered your name by your username. Go me. Do y'all have any big plans this weekend? Yes, kinda, sorta crafty. I don't know your first name, but yes, Lee and I were actually talking about that today. Um, I told him I'm not complaining. I'm not saying poor me. I just you get very worn down from the pain. And that's not just me. That's he's got back issues. Anybody with chronic pain that just can't get any relief, it definitely plays its mental role for sure, which is why I crochet and write and started doing YouTube. Just have to keep my mind busy or I will probably just not be in a great place. Yeah. I sound tired, Ellen. I'm actually not. I just have a weird voice. I don't even know if I've talked about that. Y'all tell me, have I told y'all about my voice from the accident? So my voice is a lot deeper and more raspy than it used to be because I damaged all of my cranial nerves, which control your like the way you swallow and your voice and all of that is controlled by cranial nerves. So I lost the ability to, what's the word? You know how people like women will like baby talk and they get that high pitched falsetto voice. I lost all of that. So like when I yell now, I can't scream like a woman. I don't have a woman scream anymore. I have like a, I'm not going to scream on here, but my voice does not go up. It only gets raspier. So that's why you probably think I sound mellow. It's just my it's just my raspy voice now. It's a good thing I wasn't a singer because I definitely wouldn't be able to sing now. And so y'all are gonna see me holding my head back a lot on this live because I'm in my recliner resting my neck, which is this right here is where I'm at most of the time. Um, the lighting is very poor, but I wanted to do this live where I was comfortable instead of in the kitchen like I normally do. Ugh. Now you just can't feel your face. Oh, just can't feel your face. I know you can't work, but I'm curious if it would be emotionally harder to work as a paramedic since you've had such a physically traumatic experience. Do you think it would trigger you anyway? That's a good question, and I've actually thought about that. Um, I don't know. I think I think it would definitely make me be able to relate to my patients more and relate to their family members. I think it would make me better in some ways if I could get past my own emotional issues. So I don't know. Um, I don't know. But I honestly have no desire to be a medic again. I don't, unfortunately, don't miss it. I feel even a little bit guilty saying that, but I don't miss it. All right, when I start making weird faces, it's because I'm reading comments. Um, there's something else I was gonna say. I forgot what it was though. Oh, so I know y'all saw on my last YouTube video where I was talking about how the girl at UAB was talking to me about co-leading a peer group and where I would be like a mentor and visit people at bedside in the hospital. And I think that would be a good thing and I definitely would like to try. But if anything, I think that will be harder than going back to being a medic emotionally. I think it has the potential to be super triggering and difficult, but I think it's something that I could work through and definitely would like to try and just see what happens. Because I didn't have, when I was in the hospital, I didn't have anybody I could talk to because nobody had been through anything like what I had been through. But now Dr. Godzik, when we talked to him yesterday, he was saying that now he when they get a new, like, really bad trauma, he refers those people to uh, like my blog, and then they come to my YouTube, and he said it's definitely been helping them some. So that made me feel good. And he was very upset that, in fact, he said that's bullshit when I told him about the good doctor and how they used my exact story. So now he wants to do like another PR thing through the hospital and whatnot. So we may be doing something with that here soon, just to, because he's like, he wants it to also benefit me and my family, and not just give other people like material, which is kind of what that felt like. It, on the one hand, it's like really cool that they did that, but it's also like, but if you would have included me somehow, it would have actually helped me and my family, but instead it just got used for a story to benefit someone else. So that may be kind of selfish. I don't know, but that's just how I feel. A little bit torn. Let me read your comments. Not selfish. It's your story. Thank you. I don't want to sound like I don't think it's cool, because I do think it's cool. The fact that it's interesting enough that a show would want to use it is cool, but it's also my story. And I don't want to come on here and be like, but I lost my job and all of my income and blah blah blah, but that's just the hard facts. That's what happened. And while I go through this disability process, I've got to think about my future. And that's why I started a YouTube. That's why I write. That's why I'm going to do this mentor thing and these speaking engagements, because, I mean, why not turn it around into something that can benefit us? And so that's what I'm trying to do. And it wouldn't be so, this is another thing Lee and I were talking about today. I wouldn't be so hung up on it if I didn't feel like it was even possible. But I feel like it's possible with the way YouTube is going, and just I feel like if I apply myself, if I talk to the right people, if I do the right things, that there is a future doing something. I just don't know. I just don't know what. And again, that's another reason I started doing YouTube, because it's a way to document the unknown of somebody that's had their entire life flipped upside down. And now I'm trying to figure out what to do. And so I started documenting it, which has been surprisingly fun. It's been a good outlet for me, almost like a diary or documentary. I don't know. But if it helps somebody else whose life has also been flipped upside down, and they feel alone and don't know what the hell they're doing, then I also don't know what the hell I'm doing. How long have I been crocheting? Karen, I have been crocheting for 12 years, I think. I started knitting when I was a kid, and then I didn't knit for many, many years, and then I picked it back up back in like 2011 or 12, and somebody saw me knitting and she said, "You should try crochet and it's easier." And I said, "Okay." So I tried crocheting and it was much easier for me, and I picked it up really fast and pretty much been crocheting nonstop since. I taught just a little bit, I mean, like this much of a sore spot for me, because people will say all the time, well, oh, I wish I could do that, or you're so talented, or whatever. And I disagree with that, because I taught myself through books and YouTube. Like, you can learn anything on YouTube, and I learned for free watching YouTube videos, and anybody can learn it. It's really not. I don't think it's hard. Or maybe I'm just that much of a perfectionist. That's part of it too. I am a perfectionist and I don't like not being good at something. Lee's over there snickering.
Not a bit.
Am I a perfectionist?
Yeah, of course you are. You die hard.
Thank you, Linda. Oh, I'm glad I can keep you company. Robin, you'll have to elaborate more. I know you've said that many times, but I don't really know your story. And if you don't want to talk about it here, that's totally fine. You can email me, but happy to be here with you. Sydney, for me, doing anything with my hands can be a stress relief. Is it the same for you? Yes, it keeps my hands being busy, keeps this busy, and keeps stress down, because if I'm not actively doing something, my mind just wanders. Y'all hear Bailey back there? I was early, now I'm late. Hello. Hey, Red. Angela. Make you happy. I'm teaching myself Tunisian crochet. Okay. I have a Tunisian crochet hook, and I have a book, and I think I did a row of stitches one time, but that's as far as I went with it. Does Bailey get involved? Absolutely not. I'll show you. Hold on, Bailey. Y'all want to see Bailey? Oh, there he is. Bailey, what are you doing?
Come here.
You come here. I think he wants to talk now. Bailey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Tell everybody, hey. You want a beer? Bailey loves to ask people if they want a beer. Is Bailey watching Titanic? It appears that way. Yes, that's just what TV was left on. You love our stairs. Oh, thank you. Bailey has not messed with my yarn. Uh, Somebody said something about the stairs. So Lee actually did that. He cut the hole in the ceiling. He did the stairs, and then I made uh the little mandala thing over there on the wall. I crocheted that, and then the wood is a fence that was on the side of the road that he and my daughter picked up and put right there. The upstairs in my house is my favorite part of the whole house, but I can't really go up there now. I can, but I don't like to because I don't like those stairs. But when we first moved into this house, it was very tiny, but we've added onto it a lot. So it's very, like, it feels small because it's very compartmentalized, but it's actually a big house. So when we first moved in, it was 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and then an unfinished attic. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, 2 living rooms. So, but y'all know that Lee's mom lived with us, so we have that whole section of the house now too that I don't really know what we're gonna do with. I broke my toe on those stairs in 2020. No, you don't want to fall down spiral staircase. I had on socks and I was going down and I slipped and I fell and my toes went like this on one of those rails and I broke my toe. And I went to work the next day with a broke toe too. So I have an idea of another crochet project that you could sell if you wanted. It's a thing with buttons that holds hand towels and keeps them from falling. I'd have to see a picture of it, Sydney. I don't know off the top of my head what you're talking about. Mm. Nope, they sure don't. I put on my boots and went to work the next day. Y'all, 2020, I haven't even talked about this yet. 2020 was the start of our difficulties. In 2020, Lee's stepdad died of cancer. And then we had to, they had like a 40 something acre property that we had to maintain. And on Mother's Day that year, Lee was at work, so I went over there by myself to cut the grass. I spent like 5 hours cutting the grass and had on leggings, but I got hot, so I rolled them up just a little bit. And I got severe burns on my legs. I'll have to show you a picture of that sometime. Like it was so bad they almost sent me to a burn center. I still have scars on my legs from that sunburn. And then a couple months after that, me and Lee were moving hay, and we didn't know it, but there was a yellow jacket nest in the hay bale. And when I picked up the bale of hay, it tore, the yellow jacket nest was like this big. I tore it in half and I didn't know. And so we got swarmed by yellow jackets and we were both stung like over 30 times each. It was horrific. I also went to work the next day after that with, like, we just stopped counting at 30 yellow jacket. Leaves were all on his arms and his head from where he was trying to rake them off me, and they were just all over my body. And then 2020 is when COVID also happened. Well, I ran a call one day in late September of 2020 to a patient that was, their complaint was weakness. And it was not a suspected COVID call. She didn't have symptoms of COVID. So we just had on I was just wearing a surgical mask because at that time, that was what our protocols were. And I went to put a mask on my patient, and when I got really close to her, she sneezed right in my face. And after I dropped her off at the ER, I got a text from the charge nurse that, hey, just so you know, the patient you just dropped off tested positive for COVID. I said, oh, fantastic. That means I'm about to get COVID. And I did. I got COVID and almost ended up on a ventilator from it. I was in the hospital with COVID for 2 weeks and ended up having to have a bronchoscopy, a PICC line, like the whole 9 yards, and was out of work for 3 months with from the effects of COVID. And then exactly 1 year later is when I had my wreck. So it's been a fun 3 years. The best. So good. No, Katie, my body is tired. My body is so tired. My body can't, my body can't take anymore. I'm like one fender bender away from disaster. Is anybody else knitting or crocheting while we're hanging out? Yes, Ellen. I really wish things would change for the better. Yeah. Okay, Sydney, thank you. I'll look at it. I'll look at it later. Mm. I didn't have like a I wasn't as organized this time. I didn't have a bunch of notes of anything to talk about. I just kind of thought I would work on my cat mat and see what y'all wanted to talk about. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I'm just feeling virtues. What does that mean? Virtuous. Okay. Your husband's gonna steal your shawl? That's awesome. That's funny. I'd love to have a picture of that. You cross stitch things that make you laugh. Have you tried, Vicky? Have you tried beading? If you like cross stitching, you'd probably like that. I dabbled in that. Um, Made a few really pretty things, but I always go back to crocheting for some reason. And I did want to ask, oh, I've seen the diamond paintings. Those are cool. I've tried sewing. Um, I've tried sewing, but I sucked at it. And it's too hard on my neck because like all the measuring and the ironing and the cutting and all of that, anything where I have to like bend over and support my neck, it hurts too bad. So I quit. Oh, that's awesome, Bonnie. What kind of yarn are you using? I made a cover up with I think it was Sheepy's Whirl. Or I like Sheepy's Whirl. The Sheepy's Whirl is what that mandala behind the staircase, that's a Sheepy's Whirl. And then I made a bathing suit cover up. Or, I'm sorry. The Hobby Twister is good too. Oh, Pima Cotton. I haven't used that. Oh, that's so sweet, Amy. You sew aprons for micro preemies. What's an apron for a micro preemie? It can't be this like a kitchen apron, so I don't know what that is. Let me see what Kate said. I've never watched a live before. It's the only first time I've ever chatted like this. It's nice to hang. Oh, thank you. It's nice to hang out with you too. I've also seen on the diamond paintings, um, you can submit a picture somehow and it will like make a chart of your picture and then you can paint your own like family picture in diamonds, which looks really cool. But I wouldn't mind doing it, but I definitely don't need another hobby. Sort of like a vest, but open on the sides. Okay, that does make sense. Oh, my son was he wasn't a micro preemie, but he was a preemie and in the NICU for 2 weeks many years ago. You can also do it with crochet patterns too, Vicky. Oh, well, that'll be nice when it's done. I've also been working on writing my speech today. I'm about halfway done. Um, I'm a little bit nervous about it. Talking on YouTube is much different than speaking in front of a room full of people. So hopefully I won't totally bomb. Oh, those aprons you make are for their last picture. Oh. I'm either going to be a complete robot or I'm going to be a complete emotional mess. I'm not sure. When Lee and I got married, we wrote our own vows, and he was crying like a baby when he was saying his vows, and I was like a robot, and I felt so bad. I was like, I clam up and I get so nervous. I can't feel any emotions. So I was like this very stoic, robotic bride, and Lee was a mess. We also went, I made Lee get out of the house today because he's still very depressed and it's Mother's Day weekend. So I made him come shopping with me and I got a dress and some shoes for the event on Wednesday. Call it my power outfit. So was excited about that. I hope I don't bomb, Eileen. I'm gonna have somebody record it though, so I can post it on here for you. And I talked to Dr. Godsett yesterday. He had no idea about it. He's actually flying out of town, but he's going to come by on his way to the airport so he can be there, which I thought was really cool. Thank you, Ellen. I don't feel like it, but thank you. I don't think it's that I'm natural. I think I just don't care. I don't know. I don't care about embarrassing myself, or I don't really care about people being ugly because why should I? I don't know. It's a very freeing feeling. I wish I had come to that much earlier in my life. I think my daughter is already there though. And she's only 18. Should I read what I have written so far? Maybe I should do that. I could practice my speech with y'all. Okay. I'll read you what I have so far. All right. I won't be able to see your comments while I'm reading it, so maybe I can see it on my phone. Hold on. Mm, speech. Hold on. All right, I'm airdropping it to my phone. Maybe. Okay. I enjoyed the podcast this week. Did not know that was such a thing. Yeah, and I can talk about that more too. Um, all right. So I'm going to read you my speech I've got so far. It's not very long so far. I've just started. So it says, I have to say, this is an emotional moment for me that is only made possible by the people, some of which you see here, that refused to give up on me even when I gave up on myself. October 8th, 2021. That was the day that changed everything for me, the day that changed everything for my family. I was out riding motorcycles with my dad and I crashed into a guardrail on a sharp curve. Had my husband not taken off work that day to go camping with his friends, he would have been the medic responding to my accident. I'm grateful every day that he wasn't. Instead, it was my coworkers, my fellow EMS family. Everyone knew it was serious, but no one was prepared for what actually unfolded. I was flown here to UAB, where it was found I had an internal decapitation as well as many other injuries. A quick Google search of internal decapitation does not give one the warm fuzzies. 70% of patients die immediately, 15% die during their hospital stay. Of the very few that survive, most have devastating neurological injuries. I was immediately, I was immediately, hold on, let me find my place again. I was immediately intubated, put into a halo, and my family was informed of the long road that lied ahead. I cannot adequately put into words how difficult the first few weeks were for all of us. I survived the surgery that fused my head back to my spine, only to have another major complication 2 weeks later. Due to the severity of my injury, my brain was seated just a little lower and occluded my natural flow of the fluid in my brain. This caused the delayed onset of hydrocephalus, which resulted in me going into sudden respiratory arrest, blowing both pupils, and being entered as a referral for organ donation. I know this because my sister works here at Legacy of Hope as a procurement nurse. In layman's terms, she cares for and preps the organ donors. Despite insurmountable odds, and thanks to quick intervention to get the fluid off my brain, at bedside, by the way, not in the OR, I pulled through. I'm reminded just how fortunate I am every time I look in the mirror and see this scar on my neck. It's a painful, it's a painful scar even to this that I gave up. I didn't feel like I had it in me to fight anymore, but that's where my Operation Sunset team stepped up. And that's all I have so far. Let me stop these text messages. Okay. So that's what I have so far. And I feel like a turd reading it. I feel like I do, I don't know, I feel like I do better just talking than I do reading something. But, um, will I include pictures? No, I asked about that and she said that they didn't have any, I forget what she said, but they didn't have any like plan to use a screen or anything, but I do have my motorcycle helmet still I can bring, but I don't know if I am. Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you, Just G. I'm sorry I don't know your first name, but thank you. It's really sweet. Yeah, Mary, that's a good idea. What was my GCS on scene? My GCS, let's see. Uh Lost consciousness, but then was responsive. Then I was alert, but unable to communicate. Uh, and then when I had the hydrocephalus, my GCS was a 3. Hey, Jacqueline. So I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I'm used to paperwork. When we would do paperwork, we would just touch the screen and it would add it up for us. So I don't remember all the GCS is the Glasgow Coma score. Um, a score of 3 is dead basically, and a score of 15 means you're alert and oriented. You react appropriately to pain, all that. Um, so when I had the hydrocephalus, I was unresponsive, not alert to pain, or like no reaction from pain. Um, Quit breathing, all of that. Fun times. It's Glasgow Coma Scale. What else would y'all like to talk about? I would like some input on what could the next podcast be. I don't, my podcast has started on a simply like religious thing, which is not what I intended or wanted to do, but just kind of organically came up. But I don't want that to be the whole podcast. I just don't know what my next one is going to be. The whole Judgment House thing came up very organically too. I woke up during a back surgery and suffer PTSD for quite a while. Do you suffer PTSD or depression? And how do you cope? Um, PTSD, I only have issues when I go to have a surgery. I have some issues with PTSD. But as far as at home, the only time that I have PTSD is if I'm in the car and I'm not paying attention, like Lee or one of the kids is driving and I'm not paying attention. I'm looking at my phone or something and I look up and we're going into a left curve. It takes my breath away every time. I don't like freak out, but I feel my heart like just drop and I get I get weird about that. And then uh I mean, yeah, I get depressed sometimes, but not that much. Not that much surprisingly. I keep myself busy with video editing, YouTube, crochet, trying to organize around the house, PT, dealing with that damn bird. So I just keep I have to keep myself busy because when you get still and you don't have your mind on something is kind of when the you start thinking the bad things. So you had never heard of Judgment Houses. Did you see the video I did on it? Do I remember the impact? No. Um I remember like right up to the impact. I remember knowing that I was going to hit the fence, I mean the guardrail. I remember being aware that I was going to crash. I knew I was crashing, but I don't remember the impact at all. I woke up when I woke up. My dad had pulled me off the. My dad found me hanging on the guardrail, and he said I wasn't breathing, and he got me off the guardrail and laid me in the road, and I woke up at some point laying on the road. Oh, next podcast of how I met Lee. Mm, that could be controversial. That could get me in trouble. Yes, my poor dad. I invited him to the event next week, but he said he doesn't know if he could come because he don't know if he's emotionally ready for that. And I said, that's fine, I understand, but at least this is a happy event. It's not a sad event. So, but he doesn't like to think about it, and I don't blame him. So whatever he wants to do, feels like he needs to do, is fine with me. You grew up in Wisconsin but moved to Georgia in 2011. Texas in 2015, and you were not religious. Everybody in Alabama is. Yes, it was very traumatic for my dad. He has told me that if I end up on a talk show or end up famous or they do a story about me or whatever, he said he wants no part of it. He's happy to let me do my thing, and he doesn't want to talk about it. He does not want any part of it, and I get it. That's totally fine. Everybody has to process things in their own way. Is my dad religious at all? I think that he believes in God, but he doesn't. He goes to church with my stepmom like on special occasions, but he's never attended church regularly. So I would say maybe spiritual, but not religious. My mom is super, super religious. That's awful, Erin. What kind of injuries did you have, and how are you now? Bailey took a shower with me this morning, and I couldn't get him out of the shower. Yeah. I did not grow up in a religious household. Um, Neither one of my parents went to church. My sister and I would go to church because there was a little Baptist church behind our house that we could walk to. And that's what we did because we had kids there our age. We made friends, and then when I was like 13, my mom started going and got saved and completely became a different person. So then my household was super religious. A Bailey shower compilation. Oh my gosh, Amy, that's awful. They walked me home and told my parents I couldn't go to Sunday school because they weren't members. I ain't never heard of such bullshit. That's ridiculous. I actually have a lot of fond memories from going to church and the relationships with the families there. But but when you stop going and don't have a part in the religion anymore, most of those relationships go away too. What is a UCC church? Is that Catholic? Same for me, Robin. The youth trips were the best. Oh, United Church of Christ. Okay. Aaron, I broke my right hip, severed my tibia and fibula, and had a head injury. Just fine today, except the head injury causing. So you have migraines from being hit by a car. Mm. Bailey, Bailey, what are you doing? Do I drink pop? I used to only drink Diet Coke, and now I have elevated, and now I only drink Coke Zero. Now, when I have a Diet Coke, it tastes so weird to me because I changed to Coke Zero about a year ago, and I only drink it in this cup with ice through a straw. I will not drink it out of a can, and I will not drink it without ice. It doesn't taste right. We call it Coke. Everything here is a Coke. Yeah, it does taste weird now. But yeah, everything down here is like you would say if you had a visitor, you would say, "Would you like a Coke?" And they would say, "Sure." And then you would say, "Well, what kind?" We have Sprite, Sunkiss, Pepsi, whatever. But Coke is a general term for pop or soda. Not everybody, but most people. Pop it is in Canada. I'm going to, let's see. I've got to finish this round and then finish the border, and then I think we'll call it a night. But as much as I'm talking and not crocheting, it may take longer than I think. Oh, thank you, Sydney. Y'all have fun. I'm trying to crochet and read y'all's comments too. And then I keep forgetting that my neck is killing me until I do this. And then it locks up on me. That's why I keep doing like that. Okay, so the one podcast suggestion was how me and Lee met. And one day I will tell that story. Are there any other podcast suggestions? Things I haven't covered, or you would, I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Have I tried acupuncture? No, I have not. I've got to go, but loved a few minutes with you. Thank you, Ellen. I'm glad you popped in. So, how is y'all's picture? Like, is my Wi Fi giving you a clear picture, or is it like super grainy? Like, can you tell my Wi Fi is terrible? Oh, that's interesting, Robin. On and off. I'm sorry. That's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about. So there's a new company in my area, and I keep calling them because they're a fiber optic internet company. They are working on the permits for my area. And as soon as they are cleared for that, the day it is available, I promise you, I will get different Wi Fi. Oh, okay, Vicky. Well, that's a hell of a question for a live. But you're talking about a podcast. No, it's a good question. And something that Lee is going through right now with a call that he recently ran on a 2-year-old little girl that things are not looking good for. And he's doing what he shouldn't do. He's following the family updates on Facebook, and it's not looking good. Oh, hey, Laurel. Yes, I crochet a lot, just not normally on YouTube. I'm making cat mats. This will be my third one. I've got over there, I've got a, let's see, you can see on top of that recliner, that brown, there's a brown one and then there's a green one up under it. That's what the cat mats I've crocheted so far. I asked her how she handles that. She said it's part of her training to compartmentalize. So there's actually a term for that, Vicky. What is it called? I promise I'm smart. There's a term for that, for the trauma that like therapists go through from hearing so many horrible things, but I can't think of the word for it. But it's an actual thing. Yes, Mary. Unfortunately, we live in the same area that we both worked in, so we know all these families. And whether we want to follow it on social media or not, it's going to be in our faces on social media. But now I worked in a different county for a while where I don't know anybody. And I did a lot better as far as that goes because I didn't know what happened after they left me and had no way to find out because I never saw it on social media. So that was definitely easier. But when you live in the community that you work in like that, the seeing the aftermath is, excuse me, the aftermath can be hard. I experienced a lot of that myself. It's just a cat mat. It's just a small Afghan that you put on your bed, and hopefully your cat will lay on it and not your bedspread. And then the hair will be retained to the cat mat. So far, it's working for one of my cats, but cats are notorious for, like, if your bed is clean and you put one article of clothing on the bed, they're going to go lay on top of it. So the cat mat is something that you don't mind them laying on, but they don't know that. Because if they knew you were okay with it, they probably wouldn't do it. because cats are assholes. But that's also why I wouldn't say I'm a cat person, but I can appreciate the personality of a cat. I feel like I'm similar. I'm laughing at Vicky's comment about people showing you the rashes and you're the receptionist. That's hilarious. Do the cats and dogs sleep in the bed with you and Lee? If they do, I bet you get so much space. Um, the only one that consistently sleeps in the bed is Alice, one of the cats. She lives in my bed. She hardly ever gets out of my bed, and she doesn't even wait for me to get comfortable before she gets on top of me. Spooky doesn't sleep in the bed very much, and Oliver never sleeps in the bed. Oliver sleeps on he either sleeps on the love seat that I'm sitting in now, or he sleeps in the floor beside Lee. Um, and Bailey obviously sleeps in his cage. Bailey is actually sleeping right now. Hold on. I'll show y'all how a bird sleeps. Can y'all see his little, I don't know if you can see it on here, but he's got one foot tucked up and then his little head is turned backwards and tucked in his wings. And that's how birds sleep. Oh, I missed something. Hold on, Robin. Oh no, Robin, you had one of your cats pass away. Oh, I'm sorry. It really is hard with pets. I'm not as attached to the cats as I am Oliver. When something happens to him, I'm gonna be a disaster. Yep, Lee did not want Oliver. In fact, not only did he not want Oliver, he would not let Oliver in the house for like a year to year and a half. Oliver was an outside dog. He was not allowed in the house. And then Lee finally caved, and they have been inseparable since then. Mm. Clocked a lot of hours during COVID. Yep. You know what's crazy is something I have not talked about on YouTube, but if you know, you know. If you don't know, you just there's no way for you to know. But the state of EMS right now is so bad. It's so bad. There are not enough medics. They cannot keep full staff. Um, it's quite scary. Quite scary. Oh, I'm sorry, Robin. Yes, Jace. Honestly, I'm not at a point where I can say that I am glad that I had my accident. That's a horrible thought because it has changed my life. I have a lot of pain. I have a lot of issues. Like, we all know that. But I will say, I am glad to be out of it. I'm glad that I did not go to nursing school, which is what I was going to do. In fact, when I had my accident, I was taking a couple of more prereqs before nursing school. Um, So in that sense, I feel like I dodged a bullet, but it definitely came at a very high price. Yes, so much burnout and trauma. And no sleep, low pay, burned out, terrible on your body, high risk of injury, constant abuse by employers, by patients, by hospital staff, like just terrible work environment. Like, I mean, I could talk for days about the state of EMS right now. And what's even scarier is the flight medics, the like helicopter companies are also having the same problem. They're short on staff, so they're hiring anybody that they can hire, which is not the people that you want flying you when you're dying. That is a terrifying thought, and it's something that I think about because I could very easily need another medical flight. And there's some people that I know that are working on a helicopter right now that I think I would just say, you know what, just let me die. So, our helimed. Jay Smith, I don't recognize your name. Are you a medic in this area? Are you in my area? Like, do I know you or where? If you're comfortable telling me anything about yourself. Mm. There's actually a service local to me that has a couple of nurses working in EMS. I don't know how it works. I have no idea, but they left the ER to work at the EMS service. And this service, from what I hear, is paying their medics a lot, like double what they're making 15 miles down the road. So I don't know, but I just do know they have a couple of nurses and their shifts are different. Their pay is better. I don't know what else going on, but that's in Oxford. Oxford has a lot more resources, a lot more money in the city of Oxford than the county that I'm in. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm on my border now. And then this cat mat will be done. Northern California going through cancer treatment. Okay. Oh, I remember you now. Okay. Yes, I do remember sending you that hat. So how is your cancer treatment going? Does the hat fit? Do you wear it? Like, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. Didn't we? I think you and I also, yeah, we emailed. Yeah, I had you send me your email address, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I would love to hear how you're doing. I remember now you telling me that you were a nurse. You were a nurse and are going through cancer treatment. Laurel, your son is a medic working in the nurse, or I'm sorry, he's a medic also working in the hospital. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I hope you're doing well. And I genuinely want you to know that I, I don't have anything to say to make you feel better about going through chemo other than that really sucks. And I wish there was something I could do to make it easier on you. That's why I sent you that hat because there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can say. It sucks. It is what it is. And I just wanted you to know that I was thinking of you. and wish you the best. Oh, see, I done got distracted and messed up my border. I'm glad I called it before I got too far. Okay. This is the last round of this cat mat. And then I will show it to you, and then we will say goodnight. I don't know if I'm going to leave this live up since I read y'all my speech. I don't know. Maybe I will leave it up. Do people actually like rewatch lives? Yes, Angela. Positive vibes to Jay. I remember you telling me all that now, Jay. God, that's awful. I remember that now. I just wishing you the best of luck, and I hope that you have a support system at home, because you need it. Oh, Angela's going to go back to the beginning. I guess I'll leave it up then. Okay. And again, I would like to say thank you to Vicky and Mary for the moderator, for being moderators. Have y'all even y'all had anything you've had to block or mute or, oh, let's all send Jay like the biggest, warmest hugs. That's what that hat was. It was a way for me to like just hug you. So I'm glad that you felt that. And I'm glad you're here. Well, good deal. Thank you, Vicky and Mary. Oh, I'm glad, Jay. I really do hope that you have a support system. You desperately need it. And you can always feel free to reach out to me if you need to chat or vent or whatever. I can't do much, but I don't mind listening. There was something else I was going to tell y'all or ask y'all. I don't remember now. Well, Jay, do you feel like you got some love tonight? Are you glad you came? Is it, I'm sorry if this is a dumb question. Is it Gina or Gianna? I would like to know the correct pronunciation so I don't look stupid. What you doing, baby? Okay, I'll be done soon. I'm on the border. Gianna or Gina? Okay. So Gina is fine. They say Haley.
Hello.
They've all been asking about you. And you know what they suggested I do a podcast on?
What?
How we met.
Oh, that'd be great.
I told them it could get me in trouble, and you said, "Oh, that'd be great."
Here we are.
what were the other, wait, I was going to say what were the other podcast suggestions, but I remember now. That was Mary asking how we deal with the bad stuff. Bet you met at work. Yep, sure did. Mary or Vicky, have y'all had to mute anybody? This person on here said watching you crochet is making me sleepy. Oh, good. Oh yeah, there's a lot of crazy stories. It's a lot of sad stories too. I was trying to run through the mental bank here to see if there was anything worth telling, but I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Y'all can tell I'm trying to finish this border, can't you? How long does it take to make a cat mat in one go? I don't know. I haven't made one in one go. Probably like 4 hours, maybe. Um, but I haven't sat down and made one in one go. My fingers and my hands get too tired because it's literally the same stitch over and over and over and over and over. Lee, is there a funny call you can think of that me and you ran together? I like the funny ones. I like talking about funny calls, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Well, here's a call. This isn't funny. This is terrifying and enraging, but I ran a Bonnie, I mostly use patterns. The cat mat is not a pattern. It's just the same stitch over and over, but most of the things I make I use a pattern. But so I ran a wreck on the interstate one time, and the state trooper was there before I got there. It was actually the state trooper that called because it was a very minor wreck, and I guess the patient decided they wanted to go to the hospital, so the state trooper called for an ambulance and we got out there, and this guy was walking around. He had on a hoodie with pockets, and he had his hands in his pockets, acting really weird the whole time. And on the way to the hospital, every time I would ask him a question, he would just, I could tell he was very irritated. And he wouldn't let me take his vital signs. He was just acting super sketchy. And so I eventually just left him alone and sat behind him in the airway seat and was like, okay, whatever. And then we got to the hospital and we moved him off the stretcher. And he had his hands in his pockets the whole time in that pullover because he had a gun in there. And I had about a 25-minute transport with him, with this guy that was very aggravated and had a hand on his gun the entire time. Did not know until we got to the hospital. So that was really great. Really made me mad at the state trooper, but that could have gone much differently. So that's not funny or really entertaining, but that is just the only thing that came to my mind to talk about. Just never know what you're going to get. Would also putting your channel up on a laptop and closer to you so your neck wouldn't hurt. My neck's going to hurt no matter what I do. This camera's not focusing now. There it goes. I had one flown to me. No one knew he was armed with a gun. 2 full clips. Mason. Yep, that sounds about right. But EMS, we don't routinely search people. Like, we're not the police. And if, I don't know, I never searched anybody because that's not my job. And I assumed if they were coming from the police that they had probably already been searched. And I learned a very hard lesson that day. Trust no one. Me and you think the same way, Gina? Trust no one? Yeah. Somebody said that watching me crochet was making them sleepy. And fun fact, I cannot crochet if I'm sleepy. It it puts me to sleep. If I'm like awake and rested, it's fine. It doesn't make me sleepy. But if I'm sleepy, I cannot crochet. Same thing with driving. If I'm sleepy and I drive, like driving makes me sleepy. I'm the opposite of most people. Most people get sleepy riding. I get sleepy driving. I don't even know if there's anybody in my area that does acupuncture. I'll have to look into it. I've always kind of assumed it was a bunch of uh, hogwash, but I've never tried it. So I also thought that what is that tape called, baby? That kineso tape or whatever.
Yeah, kinesio tape. Yes, that's
Kinesio.
what saved your shoulders. Absolutely.
Kinesio tape. I always thought that was a bunch of ridiculousness too, but then they did it to me, and they've done it with my shoulder and
Shoulders.
both my shoulders and my leg, and it actually did help. So I stand corrected on that.
Yes. Kinesio tape's the real deal.
Vicky said acupuncture might be too woo woo for Alabama, unfortunately.
Hey, I've been thinking about it. If I knew somebody did it, I'd already tried.
Lee said he's been thinking about it. If he knew somebody that did it, he would already have tried it. Probably have to go to Birmingham. Oh, I didn't think about that, Vicky. I have plantar fasciitis too. Vicky was saying that they did that kinesio tape for plantar fasciitis and it worked really well.
Wow, that actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Cool.
I saw a funny meme of that kinesio tape. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it was a picture of this woman in the starting line at like a triathlon, and she was covered in it, like head to toe. She looked like a smurf because she had that kinesio tape all over her. And the meme was like, you should just give up, bro. Or you should just quit now or something. I don't know. It was really funny though. Mm. I am not liking these two colors together, but this is yarn that was donated to me that I'm trying to use up, and the cats don't care what color their mats are. So it was made with love. Isn't that right, Bailey? I don't know if I crochet slow or fast either. I saw somebody on TikTok, the girl that was making the cat mats, she said she could make one in about 2 hours, and I'm about 4 hours, and I don't feel like I crochet that slow. So
You're probably faster than most
yeah, I don't know.
at this point.
I would be a lot faster if I wasn't talking, but
Mm.
well, you go to sleep for the night when it gets quiet at night. Um, yes, when I get ready to go to bed, I just go put him in the cage and he quiets down and goes to sleep, and he's pretty quiet until he hears somebody up in the morning. Then he starts talking. He starts. He says everything he knows in the morning and at night. I really wish he would get some new material though, because where's the whiskey and you want a beer is getting old. Hold it up so I can see the stitch. It's just a double crochet. It's just granny square. And this one is dark blue, so it's probably hard to see. Hey, babe, will you hand me that brown one right there?
Yeah, hold back in the chair.
Mm-hmm. I'll show you the last one I did and you can see it better. Here's one. Here's one that's finished. See? It's just a small granny square cat mat. It's nothing. Whoops. I just threw that right on top of Spooky. Surprise. Oh, they're all right here. Hold on. There's Spooky. There's Alice. And there's Bailey. And the cats pretty much ignore Bailey. We have not had any issues. So, first, learn the silliest phrases. Have you seen? There's a video on YouTube of a cockatiel singing. Y'all know that song, "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." If you have not seen that, when you get off this live, you need to go on YouTube and type in "bird, let the bodies hit the floor." It's the funniest damn video I've ever seen. It's great. Please tell me somebody has seen that video. Robin's seen it. Yes, go find that video. The scream that bird does is amazing. It makes me want to play that song and repeat until Bailey does it. Yeah, premium changes everything, don't it? Yeah, y'all need to promise me that you will go watch that video because it's good. Oh, here's Alice. What you doing? I think crochet time is over if she gets her way. Plus, I'm about to pee on myself. Yes, Robin, no more going outside for Alice. She keeps trying to sneak out, though. She is trying actively to escape, and I'm terrified because she does not have front claws. She was like that when we got her, but she wouldn't be able to climb a tree. She wouldn't be able to defend herself. She is an indoor only cat, and she is determined to go back outside. She had a fun little adventure when she was missing for the whole weekend. Um, she's gonna end up sneaking out, and she's gonna go missing. I'm terrified. That's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna kill me. But I don't know what else we can do. But she is actively trying to sneak out. All right, I got this much left. Oh yeah, that would be neat, Mary. I can only imagine what a catio is, a patio for cats, but I can say that I've never heard that before or seen it, but that makes sense. Would it be like a little sunroom for cats? That's kind of what I picture it as. a tutorial on YouTube for a catio. Yes, I can enclose cat area with screens. I will Google that. Thank y'all for hopping on here with me tonight. I was worried it would be like those long awkward silences. Like when you're on a first date and nobody knows what to say, and so you just start talking about weird shit. Believe it or not, I am not a conversationalist. I am extremely introverted, which I guess you probably wouldn't know based off of my YouTube. But if you know me in person, then you know this about me. I am painfully introverted.
And for the record, so am I, which is what makes our relationship so cool. You guys don't think me?
Yeah, weird talks with friends are always good. Oh, thank you, Katie. Is it Kate or I'm sorry, Kate. Like I said, when I get more reliable internet, I will feel better doing these more. But the first one I tried to do, like I couldn't even connect at all, and it was very stressful. And I don't want to promise things that I can't do. So I get nervous when I try to do it live because there's a chance that my internet will just not work at all. I'm glad you called a live too. I guess I should just reassure myself when I start doubting myself about it being boring or whatever. I just have to remember that no one's making anybody be here. So if you're here, thank you. I appreciate you. 2. And that is it on this cat mat. Again, I'm not crazy about the colors on this one, but the good thing is that the cats don't care. This can be a ugly cat mat for an ugly cat. Have I always lived in the South? Yes. Born, raised, lived my whole life in Alabama. There it is, the finished cat mat. So that they lay on the mat and not your bedspread. But I do have this. Hey, hand me that thing, the roller thing. I will show you this for the cat people. This thing has been a lifesaver. It's not a sticky trap, but it's like you roll it on your bed and it traps all the cat hair. Yes, that is from today.
And that's not something you're sponsored by either.
No, I'm not sponsored, but it's on Amazon. Mary has one, and Vicky has one. Okay, so yes, cat people know what's up. I do laundry on my bed, so I use that on my bed before I fold laundry and get cat hair all over my clothes. So, anyways, I am about to pee on myself, but thank you all for being here, and I enjoyed it. Your sister-in-law vacuumed her cat every day. That's funny. I could not imagine because my cats freak out with a vacuum cleaner. But I really am about to pee on myself. But thank you, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.